All right, let's talk about caffeine. For so many of us, right, it's that morning ritual, that midday pick me up, or maybe it's that absolute essential kick right before a workout. But have you ever stopped to wonder what's really going on inside your body when you exercise with it? Today, we're going to break down the science behind one of the most popular and, yep, totally legal performance enhancers out there.
So here's the big question, right? Can your morning coffee actually boost your workout? I mean, we all feel like it helps, but is that just in our heads? Is it a placebo effect? Or is there something real happening on a biological level that's actually giving us an edge? Can that simple cup of coffee literally translate into a better run, a heavier lift, or a faster reaction time?
Well, the science is in, and the answer, based on a whole lot of research, is a very clear yes, it absolutely works. We're talking proven performance improvements across a huge range of activities, everything from those long, grueling endurance events all the way to short, explosive, high-intensity stuff. The bottom line is, it just works. So, okay, we know it works, but how? I mean, what's actually going on in there? It's really a two-part story. And part one, well, it all starts right here, inside your brain. To really get caffeine, we have to first talk about its opposite number, a molecule called adenosine. I want you to think of adenosine as your brain's natural brake pedal. See, as your day goes on and your brain does its thing, this stuff builds up. And the more of it you have, the more it signals your body to slow down, making you feel tired and, ready for a nap. So check this out. Normally, adenosine builds up, it finds its special receptors, and it binds to them, kind of like a key fitting into a lock. Once it's in, it sends that "you're tired" signal. But here comes caffeine, and caffeine is a master imposter. It's shaped just enough like adenosine that it can sneak in and sit in that same receptor, in that same lock. But, and this is the crucial part, it doesn't actually turn the key. It just blocks the hole. So now the real key, adenosine, can't get in. The brain's brake pedal is effectively disabled. And the results of caffeine blocking those receptors? It's pretty amazing, actually. Your whole brain state just shifts. Instead of feeling tired, you feel alert, focused. Think about it. That set of squats that felt like a mountain to climb, all of a sudden, it feels manageable. That's because your perception of how hard you're working literally goes down. It even seems to suppress your perception of pain a bit, which lets you push just a little bit harder. Okay, but feeling less tired and more focused, that doesn't quite explain the whole picture. It doesn't explain why athletes often feel more powerful, stronger, more explosive. I mean, that can't all be just in your head, right? So, what's the second part of the story? What's actually happening down in our muscles? Well, it turns out this is where it gets really cool. Caffeine has a profound, and I mean direct, effect on the actual machinery inside your muscles that makes them contract. And the secret ingredient, the key to all of this, is calcium. Okay, so if you could zoom way, way down, deep inside a single muscle fiber, you'd find these incredible little engines. They're called sarcomeres, and they're all lined up end to end. This right here, this is ground zero for every single movement you make. It is literally where the magic happens. So here's the deal. For a muscle to contract, it needs a signal, and that signal comes in the form of a flood of calcium. Now, what scientists have discovered is that caffeine essentially makes your muscle cells release more calcium with every single nerve impulse. It's kind of like turning up the volume on the go signal for your muscles. I read this fantastic analogy that I think makes this super clear. Picture your muscle proteins as a bundle of tiny little golf clubs, all ready to grab on and create force. But there's a kind of safety bar in the way, blocking them. Well, calcium is the thing that moves that safety bar out of the way, and since caffeine helps release more calcium, that safety bar gets yanked out of the way faster and more completely with every single signal. And what does all that extra calcium lead to? Well, it leads to exactly what athletes feel on the field or in the gym. You get more forceful contractions, which means, yeah, you can literally lift heavier. Your movement velocity increases so you can move faster. Your overall power output just goes up. It even boosts the force of your heart muscle, helping you pump that oxygen-rich blood more efficiently around your body. Okay, so the science is super clear, right? Caffeine works on the brain and it works on the muscles. That's all fascinating stuff. But how do we actually make it work for us? How do we take this knowledge and turn it into a real-world strategy for our own training? All right, this is where we get practical, because getting the real benefits of caffeine isn't just about drinking a cup of coffee. It's about taking the right amount at the right time. So let's dive into what the latest research tells us.
And this is one area where our understanding has really changed. For a long time, the thinking was you needed a massive dose, like 5 to 6 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. For an 84-kilo person, that's over 500 milligrams. That's a ton of caffeine. But the newer, better research shows that you get all the performance benefits with much, much less. We're talking 2 to 3 milligrams per kilogram. We've learned that more isn't better, it just gets you jitters and side effects.
So what does that actually look like for most of us? Well, for a lot of people, a dose right around 200 milligrams is a fantastic place to start. And it's probably no surprise that that's the exact amount you'll find in a lot of popular pre-workout drinks. It just seems to hit that sweet spot for effectiveness without going overboard.
Now, the dose is one thing, but timing is just as crucial. Caffeine gets into your system pretty fast, but it takes about 45 minutes to reach its peak level in your bloodstream. So the simple rule of thumb, take it about 30 to 60 minutes before your event or your workout. Simple as that.
Okay, so we've got the science down, we've got the strategy, but there's one last really important piece to this puzzle, and that's the human element. How do we actually integrate this into our lives in a way that's smart, healthy, and sustainable? Because we have to be real here, there can be downsides. If you're using caffeine every single day, your body starts to adapt. You build up a tolerance, which means you need more and more to get that same kick. You can also become dependent on it. And, well, anyone who's ever tried to quit coffee cold turkey knows those withdrawal headaches are absolutely no joke.
And this really gets to the heart of a smart caffeine strategy. It's not about using it for every single workout. It's about being selective. It's about saving it for the days that really, truly count. A big competition, a race, or maybe that one peak workout you've been building towards. When you use it like that, you keep its effects powerful, and you avoid falling into that trap of daily dependence. So let's just step back for a second and think about what we've covered. You now understand how caffeine basically hacks the fatigue signals in your brain and how it supercharges the machinery in your muscles. You've got a science-backed strategy for dosage and timing. That's some seriously powerful knowledge to have. And that's really the final thought I want to leave you with. The science gives you the map, but at the end of the day, you're the one driving. You now have this powerful tool in your performance toolkit. So the only real question left is, how are you going to use it to unlock your own potential?